And you probably heard of the UN Small Arms Treaty. As a senator, you would vote to ratify any sort of treaties that the president wants the United States to enter into. How would you vote on the UN Small Arms Treaty? And it's pretty. I think everybody knows your answer, but we'll get you to say it anyway.
Our last candidate didn't even know what it was.
Well, let me say one thing that I think as soon as Hillary Clinton got back, I would beat her with a stick and throw her in jail for even trying to get a treaty like that going. I would vote no. And one of the platforms, look, we need to get the UN off American soil. I mean, these people are bad. You know, I don't have all the answers, but at least I know they need to be gone. So as an engineer, one of my jobs is to look at problem solving, okay? And I'm working on that.
So what you're saying, Rob, is you can make a big catapult.
I'd like to see that. I'd like to hear that big whooping sound as it goes away, you know?
Governor Huckabee, when he was running for president, he was asked that question. He said he'd tear it down and throw it down the East River.
That's still on American soil.
Well, it would go out to the ocean.
They need, you know, this is bad. These people are bad. They do not look after the interests of the United States. You know, if they are looking after the interests of the United States, it's for the one or two elites that are there, okay, that's supplying the money. These people are bad news. I mean, everywhere that they've gone into, there's been nothing but death and destruction. I mean, look at Africa, look at Russia, look at some of these, you know, feudal farm countries that are now just wastelands because of what these people have done. Anything with UN in front of it, I mean, I don't. No, burn it, get it out of here. You know. But to answer your question, no, I'm not quite sure of the plan yet, but it is forming, and there's a way. I mean, I know there's a way. We just have to find it. But the first thing is to make everybody aware that these people just aren't any good, and we need to get them out of here. You know. I get more of my money going to do something I don't want. You know. Billions and billions of our money is being wasted. It's being put in the pockets of people. I mean, we know what's going on in Africa. You know, why are we supporting this? Okay, I mean, I work hard. I want that money put on my table. I want to support the people in my community, in my state. Okay. You know, if indeed there's such a problem, or charity. I mean, exactly. If there's such a problem, Mexico, Africa, why aren't these people up in arms? You know, if we're going to spend that kind of money, let's at least get them armed and trained so they can fight back and take back their country. You know. No.
Go ahead. There's a book I've been reading this last week. It's done there called Education, and it's just full of documents and quotes, and our history books are now telling the kids that the United Nations was there on D-Day.
Oh my God.
They got a picture of Eisenhower and D-Day landing, and it says, "Isn't it wonderful what the United Nations was doing?" And the United Nations wasn't formed until 2 years later. So our kids are truly being brainwashed.
Exactly.
The kids, you know, they've gotten all this indoctrination about the United Nations being such a wonderful peacekeeping thing. You know, and half the votes are coming from those kids that have been brainwashed already.
Well, I can honestly say my two don't. Okay, they look at the UN exactly the way that, you know, growing up we had the UNICEF, we had this problem. You know, it was always a little bit at a time. They started, you know, working on us, right? Well, finally woke up and we saw what they were doing. I mean, folks, I'm telling you right now, you know, I talk about Agenda 21. Look it up. Look at the map that's produced for Agenda 21. Look at Lost. Does anybody know what Lost is? Law of the Sea Treaty. Okay. By controlling our coastal lines, they're making laws to control our rivers, streams, tributaries, drinking wells. You know, there's something. this is bad stuff. And that's just two. I mean, they have a whole thing lined out how to run and control the world, and that's what they're trying to do. I mean, I'm not being it's on their website. That's how arrogant these people are. They're telling you what they're going to do to you, and we just keep moving it right along and agreeing with them and letting them do it. It's right there. They have it right there. You can go read it. Okay? This is not tin hat kind of stuff. All right, and be very afraid of this.
Moving along. Do you believe in man-made global warming? I've got to ask these questions. We're trying to be standardized.
No, I don't. I just
And
okay.
actually, Rob, we're actually not sure how the other candidates will answer these questions. With you, we have a fair idea.
That's good. Right? No, I don't. But and I'm against a lot of the government regulations that destroy our lifestyle that we have in this country. But we do have to be good stewards. Okay? I mean, we do have to have common sense regulations that control these mega companies that do pollute. We have to watch what's going on. I lived in New Orleans and watched Lake Pontchartrain get cleaned up. And it did happen. It was very polluted. I think we saw the same in the Great Lakes back in the 70s and whatnot. Okay, so we do know that if industries can just do what they want, they will end up taking all our resources. So we do have to have some common sense goals here. But at the same time, I'm not willing to give up my lifestyle. I don't want to go back to washing with rocks and riding some horse. I work in Minneapolis. Do you realize how long that would take to get from Cumberland to Minneapolis? That's 100 miles. Of course, they want. We probably wouldn't even have the horses. Manure and So I guess it's back to walking. And no.
And I assume you would vote no on any sort of global climate change agreements.
Absolutely.
What federal agencies do you believe are unconstitutional?
Well, there's 28 that come to mind right off the bat. Okay? And that's just right off the bat. There's a lot more. There's probably 1,000 agencies that are unconstitutional, and God only knows how many acts that we have in our bills that are unconstitutional. But right off the bat, Department of Education, Department of Revenue, federal, the DEA is way beyond their constitutional bounds. They should only be protecting the borders of the United States against drug trafficking. That's what we have states for. EPA, that's one of my favorites. So the list can go on and on. I mean, there are, like I said, they come to mind right now, and I can't really list them all off, but I know of 28 that are totally unconstitutional. And let's take the EPA, for example. I mean, has anybody ever seen the organization chart to the EPA? This thing is huge. I mean, huge. There's thousands of people that work here. It's got to go. I mean, that's, to me, when you start saying cut taxes, let's get rid of some of these departments. Don't tell me that I'm going to cut departments that we don't have anybody in right now. Well, I think I heard that today on the radio as somebody's idea. And I'd be happy to produce the list, even tonight if you want, as soon as I get back to my computer. But no, get them out. Go, bye.